Welcome, dear dreamer, to Whispers of the Night. Tonight, let your thoughts slow down and your breath find its rhythm again. This story is called The Glass Train, a journey through mist and memory, where the line between dream and dawn begins to blur as you listen. Let each word settle like falling snow. Feel your shoulders soften. The world outside can wait for now. This is your quiet time, just you, the stillness, and a whisper carried through the dark. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to Whispers of the Night and gently tap the bell icon. Every night, you'll find a new world waiting for you. Stories woven with calm, warmth, and wonder, all made to help you drift softly into sleep. So find your most comfortable spot, dim the lights, let the cool air rest against your skin, and close your eyes if you wish in just a few moments. We'll step aboard the glass train together, a train that travels through forgotten places, carrying not people, but memories. You don't have to move. You don't have to think. Just listen. The station is quiet now and the journey is about to begin. Before the story begins, take this moment to rest your body. This is your time, a gentle pause between today and tomorrow. Take a slow, easy breath in and let it go. Feel your lungs empty, your chest soften, and your heartbeat slow down. Imagine the night sky above you, endless, deep, and filled with quiet light. Each breath you take is a small ripple beneath the stars. Each exhale, a wave of calm flowing through your body. Now, picture yourself standing on an old railway platform. There's no one else around, just the sound of the wind brushing across the tracks. The air smells faintly of rain and iron. Somewhere in the distance, an owl calls once, then falls silent. You can feel the cool stone beneath your feet, grounding you. You can hear the soft echo of your heartbeat, blending with the rhythm of the world. With every breath, your body becomes heavier, your mind lighter, your hands relax, your shoulders loosen, the small muscles of your face release the day's weight, until even your eyelids feel warm and easy. The mist thickens around you now, not frightening, but soft, almost like a dream folding itself around your senses. If you listen carefully, you can hear something, faintly distant hum, a low, melodic sound, like glass sliding against glass. It's the train. You can't see it yet, but you can feel it drawing near, slow, graceful, shimmering through the fog. And as it comes closer, you realize it's not just any train. It's made entirely of glass carriages, transparent as crystal, glowing faintly from within. The wheels make no sound, yet the air hums with quiet energy. Each window reflects starlight, and for a moment, the night sky seems to travel beside it. You take one more deep breath. The world fades to stillness. You are ready. When the door of the glass train opens, a soft blue light spills out. You step forward, and as you do, the story begins. glass train, the hidden platform. The last train of the night had already pulled away when the lone traveler reached the edge of the platform. A cold breeze drifted across the station, carrying the faint metallic scent of rails cooling after a long day. The lights above flickered softly, not in a threatening way, but with the tired glow of bulbs that had been awake too long. The traveler paused, breath rising in a pale mist, listening to the faraway hum of the train as it disappeared into the darkness. The quiet that followed was oddly gentle, almost inviting. As if the night itself had been waiting for this moment, the traveler stepped further along the platform, boots echoing in a slow rhythm that blended with the rustle of an old newspaper rolling in the wind. There was no rush now, no schedule to follow, no station full of people, only an empty stretch of concrete, the faint smell of tea from a closed kiosk, and a quiet world wrapped in soft shadows. The traveler's gaze drifted toward the far wall, an ordinary section of stone that seemed no different from the rest. Yet something faint shimmered near its base, like a thin thread of moonlight caught in a crack. Curious, the traveler moved closer. The glow wasn't bright, but it pulsed gently, as though breathing. It painted the surrounding stones in the faintest silver, a color out of place in the muted station. The traveler reached out a hand, hesitated, then pressed lightly against the wall. To their surprise, the stone felt warm under their fingertips. A soft vibration followed, so subtle it might have been imagined, and the faint glow grew brighter, spreading across the wall in a slow ripple. A narrow outline appeared, sketching the shape of an archway. Dust drifted downward, as though disturbed by a breeze from the other side. The wall seemed to sigh, then quietly parted down the center, opening into a dim passageway that hadn't been visible before. The traveler stepped back in astonishment, but the passage seemed patient, waiting without pressure. A cool draft flowed from within, carrying the scent of damp stone and something faintly sweet, like blooming flowers touched by night air. Drawn by a feeling they could not name, the traveler stepped inside. The floor beneath their feet felt different, here smoother, older, worn down by countless footsteps that no longer echoed in the world above. The passage curved gently, lit only by soft blue glimmers drifting along the walls like fireflies trapped inside glass. Each flicker revealed more details, carvings of trains, lanterns, winding tracks, and symbols that felt strangely familiar, though the traveler could not recall seeing them before. The passage opened into a hidden platform, vast and silent under a high arched ceiling. The air was cool and still, touched by a thin veil of mist that curled around the edges of the rails. Lamps hung from tall iron posts, their glass globes glowing with a soft, pearly light rather than the usual harsh white found in modern stations. Everything looked old but lovingly kept, as if the place had been maintained by unseen hands who understood the importance of quiet corners in the world. At the far end of the platform, a faint light shimmered brighter than the rest. The traveler approached slowly, drawn without thought. The light grew clearer with each step, revealing the delicate shape of a train unlike any they had ever seen. It stood in perfect stillness, as if carved from the night itself. The body of the train was made entirely of glass transparent, yet catching the ambient glow in soft reflections that danced across its polished surface. Every window gleamed like a sheet of still water, and each carriage appeared sculpted with exquisite care, edges smooth and gently curved. The traveler stopped a few feet away, staring in awe. The glass train looked fragile, yet carried an undeniable sense of strength, like ice that refused to melt. Faint streaks of shifting color glided through its walls, pale blues, warm ambers, soft violets like drifting starlight. The mist curled at its base, as though the train breathed lightly, waiting for someone to notice it. A gentle hum resonated from within, soft enough to be felt more than heard, a vibration that reverberated through the air in a calming rhythm. The traveler hesitated before reaching out. Their hand hovered in the cold space between them and the glass surface, but the train didn't pull away or react. Instead, the colors inside swirled more slowly, almost as if acknowledging the presence of a visitor. The traveler let their hand rest against the side. The glass felt cool at first, then warm, adjusting in a strangely living way. A pulse traveled from the surface up their arm, gentle as a heartbeat, steady as a whisper in a distant forest. A soft click echoed from somewhere near the front of the train. The door of the nearest carriage slid open with a slow, graceful motion, revealing a warm glow inside. It was not the harsh white light of modern trains, but a gentle golden hue, the sort that made shadows fall softly and corners look safe. A faint scent drifted out, something like candle wax, warmed by a quiet room, mixed with the freshness of rain on stone. The traveler peered inside, half expecting someone to greet them, but the carriage was empty. The interior was unlike any train they had ever seen. The seats were cushioned in a deep, velvety fabric that shifted colors subtly with the light. The floor was smooth and pale, reflecting the warm glow of lantern-like fixtures hanging from the ceiling. The windows stretched high, each pane perfectly clear, making the interior feel vast, like a room floating in the open night. The traveler felt a gentle tug knot, forceful but comforting, inviting them not through words, but through the atmosphere itself. The traveler stepped inside. The door slid shut behind them with a soft sigh. The carriage remained still for a moment, as though waiting for something. The traveler took a seat near the window, fingers resting on the armrest, breath steadying as the warm light settled around them like a blanket. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the lanterns flickered gently, and a subtle vibration rippled through the floor, steady and calm. The traveler felt the sensation of being lifted, though the train had not moved yet. The mist outside thickened, swirling around the platform in slow currents. Through the glass window, the traveler could see the faint outline of the hidden station, each lamp glowing like a small star. The platform looked dreamlike now, distant and softened by the fog. Then, without a jolt or screech, the train began to move. The motion was smooth, almost unreal, like drifting on a quiet river. The rails below shimmered with a pale luminescence, guiding the train forward into the darkness. The walls of the tunnel beyond were not made of stone or concrete, but a translucent material that reflected hints of movement behind its surface shadows, drifting like memories passing by. Soft sounds echoed through the carriage, the hum of the train, the gentle pulse of light, and something else faintly musical, like wind chimes touched by a slow breeze. The traveler leaned closer to the window, mesmerized by the way the tunnel slowly changed shape. widening then narrowing as though breathing along with the train. Moments stretched peacefully as the train glided onward. The traveler felt time loosening its grip, not stopping, but softening, becoming gentle instead of demanding. The world outside the tunnel began to shift. Colors bloomed through the translucent walls: lavender, deep blue, soft green, forming landscapes without edges, like watercolor scenes emerging from fog. Perhaps they were memories of places long forgotten, or visions of roads never taken. The traveler felt no fear, only a quiet sense of belonging. The train continued its silent journey, and the traveler realized something subtle. The glass around them reflected not only the shifting scenery, but something of themselves as well. Not their face exactly, but their feelings, their unspoken thoughts, softened and rippling like reflections on water. It wasn't intrusive. Instead, it felt like the train acknowledged them, carrying their presence gently, as though promising that the road ahead was safe. Even if unknown, the carriage lights dimmed slightly, settling into a warm glow. The traveler rested their head against the glass, feeling its warmth spread through their hair. Outside, the shapes of distant mountains rose from the drifting colors, dark silhouettes crowned with ribbons of mist. The scene looked impossible, yet perfectly natural. It felt like a world that existed between waking and dreaming, where logic bowed politely to wonder. The traveler let their eyes fall half-closed as the rhythmic hum of the train blended with the shifting landscapes. The quiet inside the carriage was comforting, the kind that invited soft breaths and unhurried thoughts. It was a silence filled with meaning, gentle as a hand resting on one's shoulder. The traveler found themselves sinking into the seat, not in tiredness, but in peace. They felt the journey was only beginning, though no destination had been revealed. The glass train glided on, carrying its lone passenger into the soft, unfolding night toward places unseen, stories unwritten, and realms that waited patiently for footsteps that could appreciate their quiet wonders. Passengers without shadows. The train glided through the dim corridor of light and mist, carrying its quiet pulse through the endless dark. Time had folded away somewhere behind it. The rhythm of the wheels was soft, like the slow beating of a heart half asleep. The traveler, still seated near the window, felt that rhythm beneath their palms where they rested on the seat. They hadn't noticed anyone else when they first entered, but now, as the golden lamps steadied their glow, the carriage no longer seemed empty. Shapes began to take form in the opposite rows, figures sitting perfectly still, their outlines faint as reflections in water. The traveler blinked once, uncertain whether the eyes were playing tricks. The nearest figure was turned slightly toward the aisle, hands clasped around something that shimmered faintly. It was a pocket watch, small and delicate, its surface cracked like thin ice. The figure's face was calm, almost peaceful, and though there was definition, a curve of a cheek, the suggestion of eyelashes, the light seemed to pass through them a few seats farther. Another passenger sat with a book open on their knees, pages turned slowly, without the touch of wind, as if an unseen hand leafed through memories. Across from them, a childlike shape held a wooden toy, the paint worn away in patches. When the train passed through a deeper shadow, all of them vanished for an instant, and when the light returned, they were there again, soft, transparent, and utterly silent. The traveler's breath caught. None of the passengers moved, yet there was something profoundly alive about them, like thoughts that had taken form just to sit quietly for a while. No shadow fell across the aisle from their bodies. Even the glow from the lamps bent differently around them, reluctant to disturb their stillness. The traveler leaned back, uncertain whether to speak or remain invisible among them. The train itself seemed to hum in understanding. The motion stayed steady, the glass walls carrying soft reflections of moonlight that no longer came from any sky the traveler recognized. Beyond the windows, shapes of towns and hills drifted by, but they looked like sketches erased and redrawn streets that looped into themselves. Rooftops that flickered, rivers that reversed their flow. It was as if the train traveled not through distance, but through memories of places the world had forgotten. The traveler glanced toward the front carriage. Through the frosted partition, a silhouette moved with measured grace, a tall figure with a lantern that glowed like crystal. The conductor, the same presence that had opened the door earlier. Now the light swung gently in rhythm with the train, casting fleeting ripples along the corridor. It was enough to make the passengers' shapes shimmer, as if stirred by that single thread of light. The face remained tranquil, eyes lowered. Yet the watch in those hands pulsed faintly with color, gold fading to silver and back again. The traveler thought they heard a faint ticking, out of sync with the motion of the wheels. It wasn't mechanical, more like a heartbeat echoing through glass. When the traveler shifted, the figure's head tilted very slightly, enough to acknowledge that someone else shared the space. No words came, only a mutual awareness, fragile as breath on glass. Then the train passed through another patch of soft darkness, and the figure's outline dissolved again. Leaving the seat faintly warm, the traveler rose quietly, the soles of their shoes making no sound on the floor. Each step felt like walking across the surface of a pond that refused to ripple. They moved through the aisle, drawn by a quiet need to see who else journeyed here. The figures were not identically carried something. The book, the toy, a faded photograph, a wilted flower wrapped in lace, a letter folded too many times. Their expressions were serene, not sorrowful. They seemed content simply to read at the end of the carriage. Another door slid open without being touched. The traveler stepped through into the next car. The light here was bluer, cooler, touched by the reflections of shifting clouds outside. A cluster of passengers sat together, facing one another. Though none spoke, there was a sense of conversation, of stories being exchanged without sound. One lifted a cup that never quite reached their lips. Another gazed out the window at a scene of floating lanterns drifting upward through mist. Their hands, translucent and gentle, mirrored the motion of waves. The traveler lingered by the door, unsure if they were intruding. The air smelled faintly of rain. A single droplet slid down the inside of the glass wall. Though there was no condensation, it left a glowing trail, like ink dissolving in water. And the traveler followed it with their eyes until it disappeared beneath the floorboards. Everything about the place suggested time passing, but not in the way clocks measured it, more like the slow settling of dust in sunlight. The hum of the wheels deepened. The scenery outside shifted again. The train was now gliding past a long expanse of dark water that mirrored the stars so perfectly it was hard to tell where sky ended and river began. Floating on its surface were fragments of light, tiny shapes resembling houses, trees, bridges like reflections of a town that had forgotten its foundation. The passengers watched quietly, their translucent faces filled with calm recognition. The traveler sensed that each of them saw something different out there, something meant only for them. When the traveler looked again, one of the seats that had been occupied was now empty. In its place lay the pocket watch, its glow fading. A soft vibration ran through the floor, gentle as a sigh. The traveler didn't feel fear. Instead, there was a deep, wordless understanding, the kind that never reaches language. Whoever had sat there had reached the end of their passage. The train had let them go. The traveler picked up the watch. It was lighter than expected, cold at first, then warm, as though it still carried a pulse. For a moment, a faint echo filled the air, a whisper of distant laughter, the creak of a door, a voice calling someone home. Then silence returned, and the watch's hands stopped moving. The traveler set it back down carefully, almost reverently. The glass of the seat shimmered once, sealing the moment in stillness. As the train moved onward, the traveler continued through more carriages, each one painted in different shades of light. In one, the glow was amber, filled with the smell of old paper and cedarwood. Another glowed pale green, rippling with reflections of leaves and wind, though no trees could be seen outside. Every compartment seemed to hold its own fragment of a world, a memory preserved. But softened by peace, the traveler wondered how long they had been aboard. There was no clock, no sun or moon, only the steady rhythm of the rails beneath the glass. Yet the feeling of journey remained forward, always forward. The hum was now accompanied by a faint melody, as if distant bells chimed somewhere beyond the mist. The sound brought comfort, like the echo of a lullaby half remembered. Gradually, the number of passengers began to thin. Seats that had held quiet forms were now empty, yet traces of them lingered. The scent of jasmine, the shimmer of faint light, the impression of warmth on the cushions. The traveler realized they were not watching people vanish, but witnessing arrivals into peace, into wherever the train delivered its travelers when they had remembered what they came to find. The realization brought no sadness. The stillness carried a gentle grace, like waves erasing footprints on the shore. The traveler sat again, letting the rhythm of the train settle into their heartbeat. Outside, the landscape had softened into rolling fields of silver grass, swaying under a wind that could not be felt. In the distance stood the outline of an old town, windows glowing faintly like lanterns waiting for guests. The conductor appeared once more, lantern in hand, pausing beside the traveler's seat. The face remained hidden beneath the shadow of the hat, but the air around them carried calm authority, like someone who had watched countless journeys and understood them all. The lantern's light flickered in greeting, casting a ripple of warmth across the traveler's lap. The conductor inclined their head slightly, as if to say, "You are not alone." Then the light dimmed again, and the figure moved on, silent as a thought disappearing behind closed eyes. The traveler looked toward the far end of the carriage, where the door to the next section waited. The glass shimmered faintly, revealing hints of what lay ahead, perhaps another world, another layer of memory. Yet for now, the travelers stayed seated. The hum beneath their feet steadied, comforting in its constancy. The soft reflection of their face in the window merged with the passing lights outside until it was impossible to tell which belonged to whom. The glass train glided on, and the passengers without shadows continued their silent voyage. Each carried their fragment of light until it was time to release it, leaving behind nothing but warmth and a whisper of color. The traveler sat quietly among them, unsure whether they were a visitor or had always been one of them, waiting only to remember what it was they had forgotten beyond the windows. The river of stars gave way to a horizon of pale dawn that never fully arrived. The train did not slow. It moved through the half-light with the patience of eternity, carrying its silent cargo of stories through the places between dreaming and waking toward the next stop, where another secret waited beneath the mist. The keeper of the train. The rhythm of the train deepened as it moved through the shifting mists, a soft hum like the heartbeat of the world itself. It wasn't fast nor slow, but timeless, steady as breathing, ancient as wind. The traveler sat quietly, eyes tracing the reflections that glided across the glass walls. The faces of the passengers had grown fewer now, their seats gently glowing where they had once sat, as though their memories left a warmth behind that refused to fade. Only a few remained, shadows of thought wrapped in faint light. Between them drifted the conductor. The figure moved without sound. Each step seemed to leave a shimmer in the air, a faint distortion that lingered just long enough to prove the movement was real. In one hand, the conductor carried a lantern, no ordinary lamp, but a delicate crystal sphere that held its own universe of light. Within, it floated small motes of color that rose and fell like breathing stars. The glow spilled across the carriages in waves, touching each passenger gently, as if greeting them one by one. When the light reached the traveler, it softened, shifting from white to pale gold. The traveler felt warmth settle against their skin, calm and steady. They watched the conductor pass, wondering what lay beneath the shadow of that wide-brimmed hat and the silver-gray coat that trailed just above the floor. The face was always hidden, but there was no unease in that mystery. Instead, the figure's presence carried the same peace that the train itself seemed to breathe as the conductor moved. Faint shapes appeared in the air around each passenger, traces of moments hovering like mist above their seats. Over the woman holding the letter, there rose an image of an old garden path. Over the child with the wooden toy, the flicker of a seaside fairground shimmered briefly before fading. The light from the lantern seemed to call these fragments forth, allowing them to unfold, then rest again. The conductor's motion was neither hurried nor hesitant. It was ritual, ancient and deeply tender. The traveler watched, entranced, as the conductor paused near the seat that had once held the pocket watch. For a moment, the lantern's glow brightened, and the faint echo of laughter filled the air, brief and delicate. Then the light dimmed again, and the conductor turned toward the traveler's row. The traveler's pulse quickened. As the conductor approached, the lantern reflected across the window, scattering patterns of light like water ripples. When the figure finally stopped beside the traveler's seat, the air seemed to grow warmer, denser, as though the very space was listening. The conductor's voice, when it came, was quiet but carried, is like sound spoken through still water. "This train," the voice said, "moves between moments that never found their end." The traveler lifted their gaze, but the face beneath the hat remained in shadow. The conductor continued, the words slow, shaped by patience. "Every passenger who rides carries something unfinished, a thought left unsaid, a promise, a truth left waiting." The traveler listened, the hum of the wheels filling the pauses between words. "The train gathers them," the conductor said, lifting the lantern slightly until they are ready to let go, to remember. "It passes through the spaces between what was and what might have been, between night and morning, between forgetting and peace." The lantern light drifted outward, painting the traveler's hands in soft color. The warmth pulsed gently, and with it came the faintest echo of a sound like waves against stone, or the ticking of a clock from far away. The traveler felt something stir inside, something familiar but distant, a memory of standing on a platform long ago, waiting for a train that never arrived. The smell of rain, the weight of an unspoken goodbye. But before the thought could take shape, it faded, slipping away like mist through fingers. The conductor lowered the lantern. Some memories return only when the heart is quiet enough to hear them, they said softly. "Do not chase them. Let them find you." Then the figure turned and began to walk again, the light leading the way through the aisle. The traveler sat very still, the echo of the words unfolding slowly within them. Between unfinished moments, the phrase felt like a key one that unlocked something not yet visible. Outside, the scenery had changed again. The world beyond the glass was no longer filled with rivers or skies. Instead, there were endless tracks branching in every direction, glowing faintly against the dark. Some were whole, others broken or fading into mist. They stretched outward like veins of light, disappearing into horizons that curved back upon themselves. The traveler realized that the train was not following a single line, but weaving through countless paths, each one a memory, a decision, a heartbeat that had altered the course of something. The conductor moved toward the next carriage, and the traveler followed. The air beyond the door shimmered slightly, like stepping through a film of water. The new compartment was bathed in pale blue light, and the hum of the train was deeper here, resonant. Along the walls were etched patterned circles and spirals that seemed to shift when not directly looked at. The few passengers here were even fainter, their forms little more than outlines filled with faint luminescence. The conductor stood at the center, lantern raised. Its glow reached the far corners of the carriage, and for a heartbeat, the walls became transparent, revealing a breathtaking sight. The train was gliding above a vast sea of clouds, each one reflecting faint lights from below. Beneath that mist, cities of glass shimmered, entire worlds of memory sleeping under the stars. The traveler pressed a hand to the window, awed. The conductor's voice broke the silence. This is the sea of moments, they said. Every ripple you see below is a breath once taken, a choice once made. The world remembers them, even when we do not. The traveler turned to ask something to understand what it meant to be among these unfinished fragments, but the conductor seemed to anticipate the question. You wonder why you are here, the voice said gently. You are neither lost nor found. You are between. The lantern light pulsed brighter, washing across the traveler's reflection in the window. All travelers arrive here when something inside them pauses long enough to listen. The traveler felt their chest tighten, as though air had grown heavy. They wanted to ask, listen to what? But the answer seemed already known, somewhere beneath the surface of thought. To the quiet, to the truth that hides between moments, to what they had forgotten. The train continued through the cloud. See, its light gliding smoothly across the horizon. The conductor lowered the lantern once more, and the passengers began to fade, their outlines softening until they were little more than glimmers. The warmth in the air lingered, gentle as a sigh. After a time, the conductor moved toward the far door. The traveler hesitated, then followed again. They stepped through a corridor narrower than the rest, lined with small windows that looked into fragments of other worlds, glimpses of parks in autumn, kitchens with sunlight pouring in, deserted streets under rain. Each image shimmered for a moment before sliding away. The traveler's reflection overlapped with them, merging past and present until everything blurred into quiet motion. When they reached the next compartment, the air changed. It smelled faintly of earth after rain and sounded like distant bells. The conductor waited by the far window. The lantern dimmed now, its light reduced to a gentle glow. Beyond the glass stretched a wide open plain, bathed in soft silver light. The ground was covered in small glass shards, broken fragments scattered like dew. Yet they did not cut or glint sharply. Instead, they shimmered as though alive, pulsing faintly in rhythm with the train. The traveler looked questioningly toward the conductor. The figure raised the lantern and whispered, "Every journey leaves pieces behind. Not all are meant to be reclaimed." The traveler stepped closer, kneeling beside the window. The shards outside shifted as the train passed, catching light in waves, almost like breathing. For a fleeting instant, the traveler saw within one of them a reflection not of their face, but of another time, a hand reaching for theirs, a farewell left unfinished. The image flickered, then faded, leaving only the shimmer of light. The conductor's lantern brightened again. "When the heart is ready," the voice said, "the train will take you where you left yourself." The words carried a strange comfort, though they stirred unease somewhere deep. The traveler turned to look once more at the conductor, but the figure was already walking away, the lantern's glow retreating slowly down the aisle. The traveler remained by the window, watching the landscape of glass fade into fog. The rhythmic hum returned, soothing in its constancy. They realized the passengers were gone now. Only empty seats and faint traces of warmth remained. The train was quieter than ever, filled only with the sound of its steady movement through unseen realms. The traveler closed their eyes and let the rhythm carry them. They did not know what awaited ahead, nor what they were meant to find. But in that moment, the quiet between heartbeats felt vast and forgiving. Somewhere far ahead, the lantern's glow flickered once more, a small, steady star guiding the way through the endless corridors of time. and the glass train glided on, carrying its keeper and the one traveler between unfinished moments toward the next station that waited beyond memory. The city of mirrors. The train began to slow. The sound was almost imperceptible. At first, subtle shift in rhythm, the long sigh of machinery easing toward silence. The traveler opened their eyes. The world beyond the window had changed again. The endless fog dissolving into the faint outline of structures glimmering under an unseen moon. Towers rose like frozen waves, all made of glass and steel, stretching into the mist until they merged with the stars themselves. The faint hum of the wheels faded, and at last the glass train came to a gentle halt. A stillness followed. The doors opened soundlessly, and a cool wind drifted in, carrying a strange musica blend of echoes and whispers, as if the city itself were breathing in slow rhythm. The traveler hesitated before stepping out. The platform here was made of mirrored stone, reflecting both sky and ground, until it was impossible to tell where one ended and the other began. Each footstep left a faint ripple of light before fading away. The air was clear, yet heavy with memory, as though every breath carried the weight of things once thought and forgotten. The station was vast and empty. Glass pillars held the ceiling high above, and beyond them, corridors stretched outward in every direction. Faint light filtered down through cracks in the upper levels, glinting across metallic surfaces. The traveler could see no signs of life, no conductor, no passengers, not even the faint glow of the lantern. Yet the silence felt inhabited, as if the walls were aware, listening. Drawn by a quiet curiosity, the traveler began to walk. Their reflection followed faithfully, shimmering on every surface, multiplied by the endless glass that surrounded them. Sometimes it moved perfectly in sync, but at other moments, a reflection lingered half a heartbeat behind, or turned its head too slowly, like a memory trying to remember itself. The effect was unsettling yet mesmerizing. Each mirrored wall seemed to hold a different version of the traveler, one older, one younger, one smiling faintly, one looking away. They all shimmered faintly in the dim light, their eyes glowing with fragments of forgotten thought. The corridor opened into a vast square plaza surrounded by towers of mirrored glass. The ground itself reflected the world above so clearly that it felt like walking across the surface of a lake. The city loomed around the traveler, immense and silent. But then, from somewhere deep within the mirrored walls, came a whisper. At first, it was only one voice, soft, like the sound of leaves brushing against stone. Then another joined, and another, until the air hummed with faint, overlapping echoes. The traveler turned slowly, trying to find their source, but there was nothing visible except light and reflection. The whispers weren't words at first, only fragments of sound. Yet, as the traveler stood still, listening, the meaning began to form familiar tones that stirred a memory too distant to name. Do you remember? The voices seemed to murmur. Do you remember what you left behind? the traveler's breath caught. The words were not directed by any single voice. They came from all around, overlapping, each one carrying the cadence of something personal. The reflections on the walls began to shift again, no longer mimicking the traveler exactly. One showed them standing on a rain-soaked street, looking toward an unseen figure. Another showed hands releasing something, a letter, perhaps, into the wind. A third reflected only an empty chair by a window, bathed in morning light. None of these were real now, and yet each one carried the unmistakable weight of truth. The traveler stepped closer to one of the mirrored walls. The glass surface shimmered, rippled, then steadied. Within, it appeared an image, not of this city, but of a familiar station, the same one where the journey had begun. The traveler could see themselves standing there, waiting. The platform empty, except for the faint glow of a distant train that never arrived. A feeling rose, gentle yet sharp, like a voice calling from far away. The image faded before it could fully form, replaced once again by the traveler's reflection. The city seemed to react. Light rippled through the towers like wind through tall grass, and for a moment the traveler could swear they heard the faint chime of bells. The whispers grew softer, blending into a rhythmic hum that matched the faint beating of the traveler's heart. The air shimmered faintly, and as the traveler began to walk again, they realized that every surface now reflected not only their image, but also fleeting glimpses of moments that had once been choices, taken or left. Behind a corridor to the left showed a reflection of the traveler standing beside a stranger, both laughing beneath golden sunlight. The corridor to the right showed the same traveler walking alone, the same sun falling cold and distant. The city offered no judgment. It simply mirrored what had been possible. The traveler felt a pull, as if the reflections themselves wished to be seen, acknowledged, set free. They wandered deeper into the city, following the faint glimmer of movement. The mirrored walls began to show scenes that no longer belonged to one person, long glimpses of countless lives, fragments of joy and regret suspended in silver light. A child releasing a paper lantern, an old woman closing her shop door for the last time, two figures standing in the rain, not speaking. All of them appeared for a heartbeat, then vanished, leaving faint warmth behind. The traveler realized the city was made not only of glass and steel, but of memory itself, layer upon layer of moments reflected until they became form. The sound of footsteps echoed faintly, not their own. The traveler turned sharply, scanning the endless reflections. In one of them, just for a heartbeat, they saw the conductor's silhouette. The lantern's glow flickered faintly behind a distant pane of glass, then disappeared again. The traveler followed. The corridors wound in impossible directions, folding back upon themselves, reflections multiplying endlessly until it was no longer clear which way was forward. Every turn revealed more of the same endless glass, yet something in the traveler's chest urged them onward. At last, they entered what seemed to be the heart of the city, a great hall with a vaulted ceiling, the walls entirely made of mirror. The floor beneath was still water, so clear it reflected the ceiling perfectly, doubling the space until it felt infinite. In the center stood a single pillar of glass, and within it glowed a faint light. The traveler approached slowly, each step sending ripples across the mirrored surface. As they drew near, the light within the pillar brightened. It was warm, golden, almost like sunlight caught in amber. And then, just faintly, the traveler saw within it an image. Their own reflection, but not as it was now. A moment suspended in time. A smile, a half-turned face, a glint of something left unsaid. The traveler's chest ached with the recognition of it. The image flickered and faded, replaced by another, a familiar landscape. A home long gone, a sky that once meant something. The pillar was showing what had been lost. For a long moment, the traveler stood still, surrounded by whispers that now felt like breathing. The city seemed to lean closer, its countless mirrored faces shimmering in sympathy. The traveler reached out, their fingertips brushing the glass surface. The warmth pulsed once beneath their touch, and in that instant, the reflections all around the hall brightened, showing not what was lost, but what was remembered. Every surface shimmered with quiet light, filling the hall with soft gold. Then, gently, the city spoke again, not as many voices now, but as one. You do not walk through memory, it said. You walk through yourself. The traveler closed their eyes. The words settled deep within, like seeds dropped into water. When they opened their eyes again, the reflection in the pillar had changed. It no longer showed the past, but the traveler, as they were now quiet, yet somehow lighter. As though the act of remembering had loosened something that had long been held too tightly. The light in the pillar dimmed slowly. The whispers faded. The mirrored walls softened their glow, returning to stillness. Somewhere, faintly, the traveler heard the train's low, patient hum calling through the air. It was time to leave. They turned back the way they had come. The corridors no longer twisted as before. Now they seemed clear, direct, as though the city itself was guiding the way. The traveler passed once more through the plaza, where the mirrored towers shimmered faintly in farewell. Their reflections now moved perfectly, in sync, no lag, no distortion. Every mirrored surface returned the same steady gaze. As the traveler stepped back onto the platform, the air changed. The faint scent of rain lingered, though the sky above was empty. Behind them, the city of mirrors stood quiet, its towers gleaming with the soft afterglow of memory. For a moment, the traveler thought they saw movement among the reflection, shadows waving, perhaps, or light shifting like a sigh. But when they blinked, there was only glass and silence. The doors of the train stood open, waiting. The traveler stepped inside. The carriages were empty again, but the faint warmth of presence lingered in the seats, as though the passengers, without shadows, had merely stepped away. The hum of the engine deepened. Outside, the city began to fade, the mirrored towers dissolving into mist as the train moved forward once more. The traveler sat by the window, watching the last glimmer of the city disappear into silver fog. In the reflection on the glass, they saw themselves clear, unbroken, no longer splintered by echo or doubt. The glass train glided onward, its light cutting through the endless twilight, carrying its lone traveler toward whatever truth waited at the next stop between dreams and memory. And behind them, far away in the city of mirrors, the whisper of reflection continued, a soft, endless murmur beneath the stars. The braking of the train. The world outside the windows had grown quieter. The faint hum of the wheels remained, but even that sound seemed softer, as if the glass itself were listening for something. The traveler sat near the center of the carriage, watching as the landscapes beyond began to shift once again. Yet this time, there were no cities, no skies, no seas of clouds. There was only light-soft, colorless light stretching in every direction, erasing the horizon. The train glided through it. The reflection of the traveler shimmered faintly in the window, transparent and ghost-like against the pale glow. It was impossible to tell if the train was still moving or simply floating within the brightness. The air inside the carriage was still and fragile, holding the kind of silence that precedes both awakening and disappearance. Then, faintly, there came a sound, a delicate chime, like glass being struck from far away. Another followed, then another, until the rhythm became clear. The traveler turned their head. A thin crack had appeared along the far wall, hairline and almost invisible, but widening slowly as the train moved forward. The sound came again, softer now, like a sigh escaping through a fault in the world. The traveler rose and approached. The crack glowed faintly with white light. When their hand came near, warmth radiated from it, deep and pulsing, as though the train itself had a heartbeat. The traveler hesitated. The glass beneath their fingertips trembled lightly, alive with memory. Outside, the white light thickened, swirling like mist. The outlines of the carriages became hazy. Somewhere deep in the distance, another sound emerged, the low groan of something immense and sorrowful. It wasn't the sound of destruction, but of release, of a weight being lifted after carrying too much for too long. The traveler stepped back. Cracks had begun to appear along the ceiling now, fine veins of brightness branching outward in delicate patterns. Each one pulsed faintly before spreading further. The train was beginning to break apart, but in calm surrender. As the traveler looked around, they saw the faint shapes of the passengers who had once sat in these seats, soft glimmers where their presence had lingered. One by one, those traces began to fade, dissolving into small motes of light that drifted upward like tiny sparks. They gathered near the cracks, filling them gently until it seemed as though the fractures themselves were made of memory. The traveler realized then that the train was not breaking from weakness, but from completion. The cracks were not signs of ruin, they were openings. The air shimmered faintly. The conductor appeared again, though faintly now. The figure's form blurred at the edges, as if dissolving into the same light that filled the world outside. The lantern they carried was dimmer too, its glow flickering like a dying star. Still, the warmth it cast was steady, soft. The traveler stood still as the conductor approached. The sound of footsteps barely audible over the faint song of breaking glass. "It's time," the conductor said quietly, the voice calm as ever. "Every journey ends when what was carried no longer wishes to be held." The traveler's gaze lifted toward the spreading cracks. "What is happening?" The conductor tilted their head slightly, the faint light from the lantern reflecting across the glass walls. "The train was never built of steel or stone," the voice replied. "It was shaped from what could not be forgotten. Every window, every corridor, every wheel made from memory, bound by longing. When the heart is ready to release, the glass cannot hold." The traveler watched as another section of the ceiling fractured, releasing a slow drift of glowing dust. It shimmered, soft and beautiful, before fading into the air. The conductor's lantern caught one of the drifting motes, and for a moment it shone brighter, filled with echoes of distant laughter, fading songs, unspoken goodbyes. "Will it all disappear?" the traveler asked. The conductor shook their head slowly. "Nothing truly disappears. It changes shape. Just as night becomes morning, sorrow becomes light." The floor beneath them vibrated softly, and the windows began to tremble. Through the cracks, the white light intensified, spilling into the carriage in delicate streams. The world outside was vanishing completely. Now no sky, no horizon, only brightness. It was as if the train was passing through the edge of existence itself. The traveler turned toward the window. Their reflection was faint now, barely visible. The glass was too full of light to hold an image. Yet, within that brightness, they could see faint movements, figures walking, shadows dissolving, fragments of moments rejoining something vast and unseen. The sound of the train's hum faded into a long, continuous note that seemed to stretch beyond time. The conductor stood beside the traveler, raising the lantern slightly. The crystal within was cracking too, the tiny fractures spreading like threads of light across its surface. "Each traveler builds their own train," the conductor said softly. "Some ride it for years without knowing. Some only glimpse it once. Yours was meant to carry you here to the place where holding on no longer keeps you safe." The traveler looked toward the aisle. The seats were fading one by one, the outlines of cushions and walls dissolving into brightness. Where the cracks widened, streams of light spilled in, swirling like slow-moving rivers. The entire carriage was becoming translucent. The traveler felt neither fear nor sadness, only a deep stillness, like standing in the eye of something infinite. A sudden shudder ran through the train. The sound was gentle but immense, a deep, resonant tone that seemed to come from the bones of the world. The cracks along the windows spread further, and one of the panes shattered not violently, but as if exhaling. The shards floated upward instead of falling, glowing faintly before dissolving into light. Through the open space, the traveler could see nothing, only pure, endless white. Yet within that light, they sensed movement. The faint shapes of the passengers, without shadows, glided past, their forms now made entirely of radiance. One of them turned slightly, as if to look back, and the traveler felt a sudden wave of warmth, recognition without memory, love without name. Then they were gone, merging with the light beyond. The conductor placed the lantern on the floor. Its glow had nearly faded now, the once bright crystal now clear and hollow. The conductor's voice came softly, almost a whisper. The train carried what was unfinished, but even glass must rest. The traveler hesitated, and me. "You," the conductor said gently, "must decide whether to step off or to stay until the last of it fades." The air shimmered, growing warmer. The light now filled every inch of the carriage. The cracks widened into ribbons of brilliance that wove through the walls, the floor, the ceiling. The traveler could see nothing solid, any only patterns of light folding and unfolding, as if the world itself were breathing. They closed their eyes. The hum of the train was gone. Only their heartbeat remained steady and quiet. In the silence, memories drifted through, like the slow turning of pages, the hidden platform, The silent passengers, the city of mirrors, the quiet lanterns glow, all of it blending together, no longer separate places or times, but one long exhale of being. When the traveler opened their eyes, the conductor was fading, the edges of their form dissolving into the brightness. Only the outline of the hat and the faint shimmer of the coat remained. "Thank you," the traveler said, though they weren't sure for guidance, for silence, for the gentle mercy of understanding. The conductor nodded once. "You built this journey," came the reply, "and you found your way to its end." The final crack ran through the length of the train. For an instant, everything was pure, light, soundless, weightless, infinite. Then, quietly, the glass train broke apart, but it did not fall. Each fragment became a droplet of radiance, rising instead of sinking, like stars returning to the sky. The traveler stood in the middle of it all, surrounded by a slow drift of glowing shards. Each one held a memory's small scenes of laughter, of faces. They floated gently upward, merging into the pale brightness that surrounded everything. The traveler felt something loosen deep within, the soft release of everything once held too tightly. It didn't feel like loss. It felt like return. The conductor's lantern flared one last time, then dimmed completely, its light scattering into the air like breath. The figure was gone. The sound of the train faded until there was only the hush of endless stillness. The traveler took a step forward. There was no floor now, only light, yet it held them. Ahead, the brightness shimmered faintly, and within it appeared a faint outline, another platform, perhaps, or something like one, a place waiting beyond endings. The traveler breathed in deeply. The air was warm and alive, filled with quiet motion. Then they walked toward the light. Behind them, the last traces of the glass train dissolved into radiance. The hum of its memory lingered for only a moment longer before fading completely, leaving only the echo of what had once carried them through the spaces between regret and release. The journey, at last, was ending, or perhaps, quietly, beginning again. The dawn station. Silence came first, not the kind that falls after sound, but the deeper stillness that exists before it ever begins. Out of that stillness came breath, slow, even, certain. Then warmth followed, a weightless warmth that felt like sunlight pressing gently through closed eyelids. The traveler stirred. The air smelled faintly of earth after rain. When their eyes opened, the light was soft and golden, washing the world in the quiet color of morning. They were sitting on a wooden bench. The sound of birdsong drifted faintly through the air, and somewhere nearby, water lapped against stone. The station was familiar. The same weathered platform, the same worn signs, half faded with age. But there was no fog now, no hidden glow behind the walls. The glass train was gone. Only empty tracks stretched out ahead, glinting faintly in the early light. For a long while, the traveler simply sat still, unsure if they had awakened or returned. Everything looked unchanged, and yet nothing felt the same. The air itself seemed lighter, the silence different, not hollow but whole. The traveler's hands rested loosely in their lap. When they lifted one, something gleamed in the hollow of their palm. A small shard of glass lay there, clear as water, smooth as river stone, yet faintly warm against the skin. Light passed through it in soft ripples, scattering pale rainbows that danced across the traveler's fingers. The warmth pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. For a long moment, the traveler simply stared at it. There was no fear, no confusionally quiet recognition. They didn't remember taking it, but somehow it had always been meant to stay. The shard was impossibly light, yet when held, it seemed to hum faintly with everything that had been the train, the passengers without shadows, the silent conductor's lantern, the city of mirrors, and all the nameless feelings that had drifted between. The traveler rose slowly from the bench. The platform stretched out under the pale gold sky, lined with puddles from some forgotten rain. Each puddle reflected a perfect image of the clouds above, as though small fragments of sky had fallen to rest on the ground. When the traveler stepped forward, the surface of one rippled gently, bending the reflection of the world. The wind passed softly through, carrying the faint scent of iron, of grass, and of beginnings. The traveler walked toward the edge of the platform. Beyond the tracks, a meadow stretched in the distance, silver mist lifting from the grass as the sun rose higher. The light touched everything: rails, stones. The traveler's hair end turned it to quiet fire. They looked down again at the shard. It caught the sunlight perfectly now, scattering it across their palm in threads of gold and white. Within it, faint shapes seemed to move, not images, not memories, but light itself shifting in slow rhythm. The longer the traveler watched, the more it seemed that the shard was breathing. They closed their hand gently around it. The warmth spread through their fingers, up the wrist, settling softly in the chest. It was not the warmth of fire or the sun, but something deeper, like remembering kindness, like forgiveness. For the first time, the traveler realized they were smiling. It was a quiet thing, a curve of the lips that came not from thought, but from peace. They turned their gaze to the horizon. The tracks curved gently away, vanishing into the golden haze. There was no train now, no conductor waiting, no hum of machinery, only the faint song of the wind moving through the reeds. The traveler stepped down from the platform. The ground was cool beneath their feet, damp with dew. As they walked along the side of the tracks, the world unfolded softly around them, fields waking to morning, the far-off hum of life beginning again. Each breath felt lighter than the last. They stopped at a patch of grass beside the first rail and knelt. The shard of glass caught the light again, glowing faintly like a captured sunrise. For a long moment, the traveler held it between both hands, feeling the pulse of warmth against their skin. Then, very gently, they placed it on the ground. The shard rested among blades of grass, reflecting the morning sky. It no longer glowed from within, yet somehow it seemed more alive than before. The traveler sat quietly, watching as the sunlight filled it until the distinction between glass and light disappeared completely. Somewhere far behind, a soft sound echoed a whisper, or perhaps the memory of one. It was faint, almost inaudible, but the traveler knew it instantly. The hum of the train, distant and fading, not gone, but passing into stillness. It lingered only a moment before dissolving into birdsong. The traveler stood once more. The sky was brightening quickly now, streaked with pale pink and white. The air shimmered faintly with the heat of the coming day. Everything seemed sharper, clearer. Even the smallest details, the texture of wood beneath fingertips, the scent of damp earth, the rhythm of breath felt vivid. Like rediscovering the world for the first time, they turned to look at the platform one last time. It was just an ordinary place again. Cracked tiles, an empty bench, the faint glint of rails. Yet something invisible remained there, a stillness that felt like gratitude. The traveler thought, for a moment, that if they closed their eyes, they might hear the soft sound of the lantern's glow, the low voice of the conductor, the distant rhythm of glass wheels against light. But when they opened their eyes again, there was only sunlight, tilting its head curiously before letting out a brief, clear note. The sound echoed across the open air, bright and unbroken. The traveler smiled again, and this time, the smile stayed. They began to walk not toward the tracks, but away from them, toward the meadow that stretched endlessly under the brightening sky. Each step felt lighter than the last. The warmth in their palm had faded, but not vanished. It had settled deep inside, where memory turns into peace. As they walked, they thought of the shard resting behind them. They knew it would remain there, catching sunlight, reflecting the changing sky long after they were gone. And that felt right. The train had carried what needed to be carried. The journey had ended where it was always meant to. Morning. A breeze rose gently, moving through the tall grass. And with it came the faintest shimmer of light, a flicker that could have been reflection, or perhaps, just perhaps, the last glimmer of the glass train itself, vanishing into dawn. The traveler paused for a heartbeat, eyes half closed against the brightness, and breathed in deeply. The air was new. The world was whole. The traveler walked on. Behind them, the shard of glass caught the first full beam of sunlight. For a moment, it glowed clear, pure, alive before settling into stillness. The light moved through it easily now, unhindered, becoming part of everything around it, and somewhere beyond sight, far past the edge of the waking world, the echo of wheels upon glass rolled one final time, then fell into silence. The journey was complete. The morning had arrived. The train fades into dawn. The journey is over, and you are safe. You may rest now, knowing that everything you carried has turned to light. Let sleep take you softly, like the first warmth of morning. If you enjoyed tonight's story, please remember to subscribe to Whispers of the Night for more tales like this one. Every night, another door opens, another world unfolds, and another whisper calls you home. Good night, dreamer. Until next time.